Hey Jack. The Crazy Cousins. Chapter 1. This is Jack. Today Jack is in a moochy mood. When he is in a moochy mood, Jack likes to play all by himself. Moochy mood, feels like being quiet, stays in pyjamas all day, wants to stay inside. Jack is playing with his Lego. He has built an enormous castle with a moat. Now he must save all the people in the castle from the fierce dragon. Jack's dad knocks on the door. "Hey Jack," he says. "Don't forget that your cousins are coming over today. You had better get dressed." Jack sits up. His cousins? Oh no, he had forgotten. Jack has the noisiest, messiest cousins in the whole world. He is definitely not in the mood for his cousins today. Jack frowns. "Do they have to come?" he asks his dad. "Last time David broke my remote control car. Stella drew on my maths book and Ivy picked all Mum's flowers." Jack's dad smiles. "They're your cousins, Jack." "And we don't see them often," his dad adds. "You'll have to try to get along. Why don't you invite Billy over too?" Billy is Jack's best friend. She lives next door. "Good idea," says Jack. He pulls on some clothes and runs downstairs. But then he remembers. Billy said she was going to play at Rebecca's house today. Oh no! 3 annoying cousins and no best friend. What a disaster! Jack's tummy begins to jump about like a frog. Soon it starts to hurt. Jack creeps upstairs and crawls into bed. He pulls the blanket up over his head. All he wanted was a quiet, moochy day. Now the noisiest, craziest cousins ever are on their way over. Jack lies in bed and imagines all the terrible things that they will get up to this time. Chapter 2. Soon Jack's dad knocks on the door. "Jack," he calls softly, "come on, your cousins have arrived." "Tell them I'm not here," Jack says from under the blanket. Jack's dad comes into the room. He sits down on the end of the bed. "They're here to see you, Jack," he says. Jack sighs. Then he kicks off his blanket and follows his dad downstairs. In the kitchen, Jack's uncle and aunt are talking with his mum. Suddenly they hear a scream. Everyone looks outside. David is chasing Stella and Ivy with a stick. "David!" calls Jack's Uncle Bob. "That's enough," Auntie B calls. But Jack's cousins don't listen. They run around the garden like little monsters. Jack sighs. Why does he have to play with his annoying cousins? They are the worst cousins in the world. He walks outside and he sits down on the back step. He wishes Billy was here to help him. A best friend always makes things better. "Hey Jack," David calls. "Do you want to play soccer?" "No," says Jack grumpily. "Last time you kicked my soccer ball over the fence." "How about we make a potion then?" says Ivy. "Remember we made one last time?" "We got in trouble because you picked all Mum's flowers." Jack says, frowning. "I don't want to make a potion again." "I'm sorry," says Ivy in a little voice. She flops down on the back step beside Jack. David kicks a pebble and Stella chews her fingernails. The 3 of them look miserable. "We just want to play with you," Stella says to Jack. "You're the one with all the good ideas," David said. "Yeah, Jack," Ivy said. "You're the bestest, Funniest cousin in the whole wide world. Jack looks up at his cousins in surprise. The best cousin? He didn't know they thought that. Jack gets a warm honey feeling in his tummy. Now he feels bad for acting so grumpy. He certainly hasn't been the best cousin today. He's been the worst cousin. Well, he says slowly, I guess you could come and look at my Lego castle. Really? Says David. Jack grins. It's got a tower and a moat and even a drawbridge. Cool, shouted Stella and Ivy together. Jack smiles and the four of them run upstairs to his bedroom. Chapter 3. When Jack's cousin sees his castle, they all gasp. Wow, says David. That's so cool, says Stella. Jack feels very proud. Can we play with it? Ivy says, jumping up and down in excitement. Says Jack. His tummy starts to wriggle around again. He doesn't want his cousins to touch his Lego castle in case they break it. But he doesn't want to be mean either. Jack doesn't know what to do. All right, says Jack, but be careful. Can I be the knight? David says. Can I be the princess? Stella says. Can I be the dragon? Ivy shouts. She picks up the dragon and swoops it towards the castle tower. Oh no, says Jack, but it's too late. Ivy crashes the dragon into the tower and all the little pieces of Lego tumble down to the ground. David and Stella freeze. Their eyes grow wide in fright. Little Ivy covers her face in her hands and begins to cry. I'm sorry, she says. I didn't mean to break your castle, Jack. Jack looks at Ivy. He looks at David and Stella too. He remembers what they said to him outside, and the big, moochy, grumpy bubble inside him pops. He smiles. That's okay, Ivy, he says. That was an accident. Anyway, Lego is meant to be broken. Look. Jack picks up another dragon and crashes it into the wall of the castle. The wall breaks into many pieces. Jack's cousins look nervous. Jack giggles. Then he crashes his dragon into the other wall. Another part of the castle comes tumbling down. Come on, says Jack, laughing. You can break the rest, Ivy. Ivy crashes her dragon into the last wall. The castle is now in ruins. Little Lego pieces lie everywhere. What now? Says David. He still looks worried. Well, now we can build it again, of course, Jack laughs. So Jack and his cousins build another castle, taller than the last one. This time it is Stella's turn to crash it down. Stella and Ivy and David laugh loudly. Jack laughs the loudest of all. All afternoon, Jack and his cousins build castles out of Lego, then crash them down again. It's the best afternoon ever.